Targum Psalms, Psalm 212, the third part. In this video, I'd like to talk about this phrase, receive instruction, which is supposed to reflect these two words in Hebrew. There's a mystery why we have the Aramaic word bar here. Perhaps we can look at some ancient versions to try to work out this puzzle a little bit. First off, the Peshitta. It didn't seem to bother this Peshitta translator to have exactly kiss the sun. There is a Peshitta tradition that has lay hold of correction, which sounds a lot like the Targum. Let's look at Greek next. In the Göttingen Septuagint for verse 12, we have that idea there about receive instruction. So this is beginning to look like ancient evidence for that Targum reading. Latin. Here we have several Latin versions, which I'm going to lay out on the next screen. From the left, this is the Old Latin. And then with the green type, these are versions that Jerome worked on. A lightly reworked Roman Psalter, more thoroughly using the Septuagint, and then finally using Hebrew as his base text. And we notice in these four versions some artifacts of the Hebrew. On the left there in the Old Latin, the word kiss is still there. But in the Roman Psalter and Gallican Psalter, influenced by the Septuagint, you wouldn't expect that. But then finally over here in a Latin translation just from Hebrew, we see the Latin word for pure. Why is that? Well, if we can go to Halot, we see that there are actually 6 definitions of Beit Resh in Hebrew. So the second one there is pure. This attests to Beit Resh in the Hebrew. This is treated as an Aramaism in Wagner's work, where it means sun, and that actually follows from the use in verse 7 of the Hebrew word for sun, bain. And we note in Proverbs 31:2, the word bar, meaning sun, appears 3 times, and this doesn't seem to give anyone any pause, perhaps because there are no messianic implications of Proverbs 31. The Word Biblical Commentary suggests that even though translators might be uncomfortable with it, kiss the sun is a perfectly understandable and coherent meaning of this phrase. And interestingly, Peter Ho points out that statistically, the middle word of Psalm 2 is sun there in verse 7. So we have a royal psalm, a messianic psalm that centers on the sun. It is actually reasonable, even though it's in Aramaic, for the word sun to appear in Psalms 2:12. That having been said, that doesn't explain where this Aramaic expression comes from, but that's where we should leave it for now. Let's continue reading in Targum Psalms.